Right now, thousands of workers are moving over 1 million cubic meters of dirt every single week to build structures once thought impossible. Costs for these engineering marvels have exploded, with some internal reports reaching a staggering $8.8 trillion. Engineers are pushing the limits of physics by building walls higher than mountains and digging canals deep enough for 5,000-ton ships. These giant builds are set to reach major milestones by the end of 2026, changing how we live and travel forever. But with such massive risks and costs, the world is wondering if these are miracles or giant mistakes. Can these insane structures actually survive the pressure of reality? These are 5 insane mega builds set to transform the world in 2026. The Line. A project in the Middle East was supposed to be a 170-kilometer-long city, but it has run into major trouble lately. By late 2025, the plan was scaled back so much that only 2.4 kilometers will be finished by the year 2030. This first section is called the Hidden Marina, and it is built to hold about 200,000 people in 80,000 apartments. Even though it is smaller now, the engineering is still mind-blowing. The city is just 200 meters wide, but 500 meters tall, which is higher than the Empire State Building. The outside walls are made of mirrors to help the city stay cool in the hot desert sun. To hold up this heavy weight, workers have already hammered 4,500 giant poles deep into the ground, and they want to put in 15,000 total. Under the city, there is a hidden layer called the spine, where fast trains will carry people from one end to the other in just minutes. However, the cost has exploded from $500 billion to a staggering $8.8 trillion according to internal reports. Because of these crazy costs and slow progress, the project recently got a new director to try and fix the mess. Construction is moving fast in the Hidden Marina area. Every week, workers move massive amounts of dirt. This giant hole is needed because the city will have levels for living, working, and nature all stacked on top of each other. Engineers are using a special system to make sure the 500-meter tall walls do not sink into the soft sand. The mirror walls are not just for looks. They reflect the sun to keep the city from getting too hot without using too much power. But while walls are rising in the sand, another nation is literally carving a path for the ocean through solid rock. Pinglu Canal. The Chinese Pinglu Canal is a 134.2-kilometer-long waterway that will connect inland cities directly to the ocean for the first time in modern history. This project is moving 315 million cubic meters of earth and rock, which is 3 times more than what was moved for the famous Three Gorges Dam. The goal is to let massive 5,000-ton ships sail right into the heart of the country, saving over $700 million in shipping costs every year. The most impressive part is the Madao Junction, which has the biggest water-saving ship lock in the world. Usually when a ship goes through a lock, a lot of water is wasted, but this system saves 60% of the water by storing it in big side tanks to use again. They are also building special bridges, just for animals like squirrels and leopards, to cross the canal safely. By 2026, this giant ditch will be open for business, changing how goods move across Asia forever. The engineering at Madao Junction uses a 3-level system of chambers that catch the water as it leaves the lock. Instead of letting that water flow away, the system pumps it into side reservoirs. When the next ship comes, the water is released back into the lock. This is important because the canal needs enough water to stay deep for heavy ships. Over 35,000 workers have been on the site at the peak of building. They use 5G technology to track every ship and make sure the water levels are always perfect. The canal also works as a giant flood control system. During heavy rains, it can take extra water away from cities and send it safely to the sea. Moving a river is hard, but keeping a tower steady at 557 meters high in the sky is a whole different level of engineering. Burj Binghati. In Dubai, a new tower is trying to become the tallest residential building on the planet. It will stand 557 meters tall, with 104 floors of super expensive homes. Because the tower is so thin and tall, the wind could make it sway back and forth, which would make the people inside feel sick. To stop this, engineers are using a tuned mass damper. This is a giant heavy weight that hangs inside the building to balance it out when the wind blows. The top of the building has a beautiful crown made of diamond-shaped spires that reflect the sun. These spires are made from special strong metals that are very light to reduce the pressure from the wind at that extreme height. Each apartment even has its own private pool on the balcony. The building uses a special self-climbing system that lets the concrete structure grow taller very quickly without needing as many traditional cranes. It is scheduled to be finished by mid-2026, and the most expensive home at the top is worth over $200 million. The tower's foundation is anchored into the bedrock using a deep pile system to support the massive weight. To keep the building light but strong, the team uses high-strength concrete and steel. The outer skin is made of special glass walls that provide insulation against the extreme heat, which can go over 40 degrees Celsius in the summer. The diamond spires at the top are not just decorations. They use high-strength alloys to help handle the wind pressure. Inside, the building is packed with smart technology. Residents can control their lights and cooling using voice commands or their phones. There are even robots being used on the building site to help place materials with perfect accuracy. This reduces mistakes and keeps the project on schedule. Living in a diamond in the clouds is one thing, but a real city needs to move millions of people without a single person behind the wheel. Grand Paris Express. Paris is building a massive new metro network, and the most important part is Line 15 South, which is a 33-kilometer loop around the suburbs. To dig these tunnels, they use 27 giant machines that work like massive drills, some over 9 meters wide. These machines dug through thick rock and dirt as deep as 70 meters underground. When it opens in late 2026, the trains will be 100% automatic, meaning there is no driver at the front. These trains are built to be very green, with 98% of the materials able to be recycled when the train gets old. They will travel at 120 kilometers per hour, which is much faster than the old subway lines in Paris. This project costs over $39 billion for the whole network, but it will save millions of people from sitting in traffic every day. A trip that used to take an hour will now take only 23 minutes. The giant drilling machines are the real stars of this project. They use a rotating head to crush rock, while at the same time, they place concrete rings to line the tunnel walls. This allows the workers to build the tunnel without the ground caving in. For the stations, engineers used machines to dig deep holes for air and rescue shafts. The trains themselves use a special braking system that turns the energy from stopping back into electricity to help the train start again. The computers talk between trains so they can run just 2 minutes apart during busy times. This means you never have to wait long for a ride. The stations are also being built as community hubs with shops and parks. If you lived in a big city, would you trust a train that drives itself? Let us know in the comments. A massive automated city needs an even bigger source of power, hidden deep within a frozen mountain range. Yabatan Hydropower Station. A giant hydropower station is being built at a very high altitude in the mountains of Asia. The dam is 217 meters tall and is shaped like a double curve, which means it bends in 2 directions to be extra strong. It was very hard to build because the weather is so cold, but engineers found a way to pour concrete all year round, even in the snow. They used an AI system called Yedian Cloud to watch the temperature of the concrete to make sure it did not crack. Inside the mountain, they carved out a giant room for 5 massive turbines that will spin to make 10.2 billion kilowatt hours of electricity every year. That is enough power to save 3 million tons of coal from being burned. The power will travel through a giant 1,901 kilometer long wire to reach big cities far away. The first parts of the station started working in late 2025, and it will be fully finished in 2026. The dam is the highest arch dam ever built in such a cold place. Engineers had to solve the problem of thermal cracking. When concrete is poured in large amounts, it gets very hot inside. If the outside is freezing, the concrete will crack. To stop this, the AI system tracked the heat in real time and used cooling pipes to balance the temperature. The project also has a vertical shaft that is 311 meters high to help move water through the system. The turbines are very powerful, with 4 of them producing 510 megawatts each and a smaller one producing 200 megawatts. This green energy is then sent through a superhighway for electricity that spans nearly 2,000 kilometers. By finishing this project, engineers are showing that they can build clean energy in the hardest places on Earth. If you want to see more stories about how engineering is changing our world, Make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to comment below and tell us which of these 5 projects you think is the most insane. And turn on notifications so you never miss a new video. See you in the next one.